Tales from the Crypt Presents Demon Night, released in 1995, brings the twisted horror and gruesome style of HBO's Tales from the Crypt to the big screen. The film follows a mysterious drifter named Brayker as he protects an ancient key from a charismatic demon known as the Collector, turning a desert boarding house into the setting of a bloody battle between survival and temptation. Mixing practical effects, religious horror, dark comedy, and mid-90s horror energy, Demon Night has become a cult favorite, remembered for its wild tone, Billy Zane's villain performance, and its balance of chaos, mythology, and fun.
Everybody, and welcome back to another episode of So You Like Horror. And we're still kind of tinkering with the sounds here. It sounds weird in my headphones, but it could be that I have the volume turned a little bit down in my earphones, at least itself. I don't know how the mic sound, but whatever. We're here. So this episode, we're going to actually, since the next episode is going to be the Tales from the Crypt episode, I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to do the Tales from the Crypt Demon Night episode here. I thought about Bordello Blood, but I don't think that one really stood out to a lot of people. I don't think folks were really digging Dennis Miller and Angie Everhart in a roles in what Corey Feldman as a vampire. So I was like, let's just skip that one. Although maybe, you know, it'll get brought back up at another point, I reckon. I don't know.
I'm sure it has its fans.
But I'm sure. I'm not one of them. But I think that was one that Mario... Well, because Mario introduced me to Demon Night. I didn't know it was even a thing. I think this was like one of those drunken nights he came home with a bunch of VHSs from Blockbuster. And me and Charles were already sitting there drunk, eating nachos on the couch. And what he put on, like, The Quick and the Dead, 2 Days in the Valley, and Demon Night.
Oh, well.
And just all really weirdly unrelated movies. But that was Mario.
Yes.
Just doing weird shit. So anyhow, my guest or co-host for this episode will be my beautifully lovely wife, Sarah Beth.
Hello.
Welcome. Oh, I don't know if it's going to pick up or not. Let's see. So I figured out with the soundboard.
Okay.
I actually have 36 sounds.
Ooh.
But they're sectioned off 9. Like they're 4 channels, 9 pads per channel. So let's see here. So some of them are standards, and then there's some horror related ones. Oh, that's a little quiet. Let's try it again.
You're a fucking drag, you know that?
Yeah, so that's for you. So be cool.
What?
Be fun.
What?
Or I'm going to tell you that you're a
fucking drag, you know that?
You know, you're starting off already.
Yeah, son. The next one.
Hey, yo!
Okay, that's just if, someone say something questionable.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And that's if I got something
Love
special.
him.
My name is Jeff.
That it doesn't matter. I'm going to find somewhere for that one. I don't know which Halloween that's from. I think it's just a random. It's probably one of the newer ones.
Fine. We're having popcorn.
And
Dexter.
A little bit of Dexter action there. Okay,
It's this far off from being Twilight.
It's a little... That ran longer than I thought it would run.
A little bit.
Let the game begin.
You got Jigsaw there. John Kramer. And then your standard... Applause when someone's happy, something cool happens. Anyhow, let's actually get to the show. Honestly, I don't even know if people could hear those. To be quite honest.
Well, I mean, either they're going to hear a bunch of blank stuff or they're going to hear the sounds.
Yeah, either way, I don't care. Well, I do care because I have to fix it.
Let him know.
But yes, please, if no sounds came through, let me know. Although I'll play this back Friday anyway. Like I usually play the beginning part to kind of get a feel.
Okay.
So I have to at least listen to 4 minutes, at least. So anyhow, tonight, Sarah and I are going to be talking about Demon Night, a movie that feels like
It's very near and dear to your heart.
yeah, it's near and dear to me, but it also feels like somebody threw demon lore, grindhouse horror, practical effects, a siege movie, and Billy Zane all into a blender at once and said, let's see what we get.
And that, you get that.
Yeah, and this is one of those like movies that like it's not really trying to be classy. It's not trying to be anything special.
It's a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Yeah, it knows what it's about.
Exactly.
It's loud, it's weird, it's funny, it's nasty, and it's very much
crude.
of its time.
Right, very much so.
But underneath like all of that, like you got blood, because inside the key there's blood, the slime from the creatures,
Yeah.
and the Billy Zane one-liners.
I love those.
There's actually a really decently solid story about temptation, survival, sacrifice, and what happens when someone has to carry a burden that they never really asked for. So
It is very much thrust upon everybody who takes it
yeah,
without asking if this is what they would wish to carry.
yeah. So before we like get deep into the weeds with this, like what were your first reactions to Demon Knight? Like when you saw it, was it fun? Like was it ridiculous, better than expected, or all of the above?
Well, you introduced me to Demon Knight.
Duh.
I wasn't really allowed to watch Tales from the Crypt stuff.
Duh.
But it was definitely fun, ridiculous in its 90s sense. And I loved it because it just, and of course, Billy Zane. Whoop. So, yeah. So basically, let's start into basic film info. So, Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, which was released in 1995 and directed by Ernest R. Dickerson.
Like Charles Dickerson.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's Dickinson, but this is Dickerson.
I call him Dickerson.
All right.
Yo, Dickerson.
It stars William Sadler as Brayker, which is our main guy. Billy Zane is our other main guy.
Yeah.
We got two main. You got the two people. You got the good, bad. You got the good side, the bad side. You got the two main peeps. Billy Zane is the collector. Jada Pinkett Smith as, go on, say it.
Jeryline.
Jeryline.
I mean now.
Thomas Hayden Church as Roach, pain in my ass, and Dick Miller as Uncle Willie. Now, I think if your name starts with, if you go by Dick, and you're an older gentleman, you have to go by Uncle Willie because it's the only thing that's acceptable, I feel like.
I mean, if you go by Dick, just
Uncle
in
Dick,
general.
it's just weird. I mean, it's not his fault that he's named Dick, Dickerson, or Richard.
What was it? The one, it was like in a Teen Titans. It was like, how did you get Dick from Richard? Well, if you ask nicely, you'll find out.
Well, going back into the movie, this movie connects to HBO's Tales from the Crypt, with the Crypt Keeper introducing and, of course, closing our story as he always classically does. This gives the film its fun, pulpy personality right from the jump. And it's not trying to be a quiet, slow burn kind of a horror movie. It's here to entertain you. It's not really even meant to scare you. It's just meant to just entertain. It really is. And make you laugh. And, of course, demons exploding all over the place. There's a lot of shrieking and green lightning shooting out of their eyes.
Yeah.
And it's a complete mess. I mean, everybody really needs a shower after this thing because it is messy. Carrying on. The story follows Brayker, who is our mystery man who is carrying a sacred key that happens to be filled with blood, which he tells pretty quickly in the story because, of course, it's a very fast-paced moving story.
Yeah.
He ends up, at this very rundown border house with this very kitschy cast of characters, basically. And he's constantly being chased down by the collector, a.k.a. Billy Zane, who is a demon who wants the key so that he can bring about the end of the world. So, husband of mine, did you feel like a bigger version? This is like just a larger, bigger version of like a little story from Tales from the Crypt?
So, when I first watched it, honestly, I wasn't terribly familiar with Tales. Like, I knew of Tales from the Crypt, but I never really
Everybody
watched
kind
it.
of knew of it.
Because I didn't have HBO as a kid.
Neither did I. No.
I didn't watch it until later. But, like, to me, I didn't get those vibes then. Later on, I understood exactly where it was coming from, though.
All right. Well, how do you feel about its comic book horror tone?
I mean, it has its moments. Like it
Right.
carries out like a comic book, honestly.
Yeah, like you could see it. You could picture it in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much of the movie's charm do you feel comes from it feeling like so aggressively, like it very much screams 90s when you watch it. Like it couldn't be.
Yeah, if you made this movie today, like
It wouldn't have the same ring.
it wouldn't hit with the younger folks, I don't think.
Definitely not.
Like if you made it today, like if younger folks watch like Demon Knight from '95, like now,
Yeah.
I think it clicks because you know when it's from. But if you make it for now, it doesn't.
It wouldn't translate as well. Yeah.
So, I do think that a great amount of that charm, though, is because of the 90s and just kind of the aesthetics. And then also kind of being like at a crossroads in the 90s where you know, you're coming from like a lot of silly stuff. You're like a year before we get into the teenage angst and the meta horror.
Yeah.
So this is kind of one of those like last survivors of that run of silly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but like as Sarah mentioned, though, the movie does start off fast. Like Brayker's already on the run.
Yep.
Like you don't even get kind of like the intro to that. You just see a high speed chase, and then you get who was it? Filter. Hey man, nice shot playing in the background, which I fucking love that song. Wish I had if I would have thought about it, I would have had the button.
Oh,
I would have
I'm so sorry.
did the sound button for that.
Okay.
You know, we're learning on the fly here.
We are.
But yeah, like basically Brayker's, you know, on the run, the collector's right behind him. And, you know, the movie gives us just enough to understand that, you know, Brayker is carrying something important and that the man chasing him isn't exactly human because you see a crash and dude gets out fine. So,
Aren't like both the cars on fire or something like that? Like
yeah, when the sheriff finds it,
exactly.
He's
Who
like,
is Eddie Munster?
They're in New Mexico, I believe, and
Something like that.
Like, you know, they got tags from Jersey and tags from Maryland, so
they've been on the run.
yeah, or you know, they might just found some travelers and sold their car too.
Oh man, that sucks.
But once Brayker reaches the boarding house, this is kind of where the film shifts into more of a siege movie and less of a. I mean, like you know, it's still kind of horror adjacent, horror comedy, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I mean, I would find it horrifying if I was stuck in that position with all these things coming at me.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a pseudo. I just want to say pseudo siege movie, you know, with everybody trapped inside while the demons surround the building and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And the only thing that's actually protecting them is the blood that's in that key because, like,
it's magic blood.
Because Brayker shows that, like, if you put a drop like near the door, whatever,
It can seal an
seals.
entrance. Yes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you know,
For the most part.
for the story, it makes sense. But like, as I'm even really thinking about it, I was like, because there was a point where it kind of like it spilled near like the upstairs, and ultimately it sealed off the entire entire upstairs area.
Yes.
Like, I don't think that's how that works, but whatever. You just go
For
with
our
it.
story, it does.
You know, whatever.
Fairy tales.
But a lot of tension really comes from like the people that are within this siege or in the border house within the siege part of the story. So, you know, you get to a certain point within this, though, that the border house starts to feel like a pressure cooker because every character brings their own fear, guilt. They bring baggage, into the room. So as the night goes on, Billy Zane, he realizes like he doesn't really have to force his way in at all. He can use temptation,
Of course.
and then get to the people from, just offering them stuff. Like offering them, like Cordelia is like, she just wanted to be loved.
Right.
So, he's offering her an opportunity to be loved. Roach, he's a despicable human. He was just offering him escape.
Right.
Who else? I think Irene lost her arm at some point.
Yep.
He offered her an arm. He's like, I'll give you your arm back.
Give you your arm back.
So he didn't really have to do much on his own because everybody else already kind of had the working parts of the temptation stuff there. And that makes the danger feel a little bit more personal because, survival, is not just about fighting the demons. It's also about resisting, your own weaknesses.
Of course.
So, and Brayker kind of adds to that tension because, he's not really like a polished hero, if you will.
No.
I don't think you see that he's a war veteran.
Yes.
You kind of get a glimpse of his backstory.
Of course.
But, again, war hero versus like action hero, like hero that's protecting these people in his boarding house, I think is a whole lot different. So you get Brayker, who's a little rough around the edges, and people don't know how to take that. He's tired. He's like just run down.
He's a bit abrasive because he is kind of pressed for very important matters, and he doesn't have a whole lot of time to explain shit.
Yeah, he's running out of time. So
yes.
This makes his mission feel a lot more desperate, I guess.
It does.
So, looking at this, did the one location setup make this movie feel stronger, or could it have worked if they moved about more?
I mean, if you're doing a 2-hour movie, yes, you can have him moving to one or two other places and then moving off to this main place. But I think the idea is the main place is the meat of the story because it is your main setting for this, conflict to arise and to finish itself and move on with the story. So I think the one location works best.
Yeah, I agree.
No need to overcomplicate things. Simplifying things is best.
Yeah, I think if you end up having too much location switch and scenery switch,
right, then you're really just extending time. But are you really adding to the story?
No, you're just dragging shit out.
And if this is like a comic, then you want to keep to the meat of the story without a whole bunch of additives to it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our next main character, the Collector, aka Billy Zane, who is absolutely amazing in this. I love him in this. I love this for him. So he performs as as we said, the Collector. And he is the biggest reason that this movie still, of course, gets talked about because of the way he acts in this.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, when people do talk about this movie or remember this movie, that's the thing they remember is Billy Zane. I don't think they remember Jada Pinkett was in it. They don't remember that the president from Iron Man 3 was in it, and the Sandman from Spider-Man 3 was in it. A lot of threes in this bitch.
Oh, yeah, Roach is Sandman.
Yeah.
Oh, I just realized, well, he has longer hair in this and younger, but still. Anyway, so, yes, he not only plays our villain, he plays angry, scary, and he also can play charming, sarcastic, playful, and just evil because, well, he is a demon, like a head demon. So, of course, he's going to give you what you want,
There's
basically.
kind of a switch that he does, where he's being charming and silly.
Because he's trying to get what he wants as simply as possible. And if that doesn't work, then he resorts to, fuck it.
Well, no, but I'm saying, when he's doing it, he's very charismatic.
Yes.
And then it becomes almost like a frustration is when the demon comes out.
Yes, of course you can.
You see it when he jumps out the window. After everything's kind of revealed and he jumps out the window, and he takes off the coat and he's like, fuck this cowboy bullshit.
Yes, he has this little hissy fit right there, throwing everything off, and he's like, all right, fine, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he is very dangerous because he gets people, but that's also kind of his job to get people and to get what he wants from them. Anyway.
He's a collector.
He studies. He knows what they want deep down inside. He knows kind of their true selves. And he knows how to use that against them, which is, again, his job. He doesn't play, he doesn't always need to, use his claws. He uses his smarts to get just the right offer. And sometimes he'll offer them just the simplest things. Like you said earlier, love, escape, your arm back, and stuff like that. That makes him more interesting than a basic demon villain. He's funny, but he's also not harmless. The humor almost makes him more unsettling because he treats the possible end of the world like it's just a game that he's enjoying. He really wants to get to this point, I guess because he wants to be able to reign free, in a way. So our Collector uses his charm as a weapon, and Billy Zane brings a lot of that energy to the role. And playing him like a mix between a demon, a salesman, and sometimes a game show host, which is just they really put a lot of thought and effort, I think, into the character. And his confidence makes him very fun to watch. But the way he studies people and uses their weaknesses against them is what makes him truly the dangerous thing in the story.
Yeah.
So let's see. What would the Collector work as well if the performance was maybe more serious and less kind of like silly and kooky zany?
No.
I don't think it would either.
I think it has to be like it has to be this silly,
right?
From what I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, like I heard that he improvised a lot of his lines,
and sometimes that works best.
So like if he had to be more serious, I don't know if that works then that way.
No, because I feel like it would be a more boring of a story. It wouldn't really catch your attention and be like, so, you know.
Like, I think the story could work, but I think you would, there's a whole lot that has to be changed. It's like when you look at like Back to the Future, when Eric Stoltz was being Marty, the movie is a lot different. Mm-hmm. The tone was different because of the lead actor.
Yeah.
Then when you bring Michael J. Fox into it, I think they're able to get to the tone that they're looking for. And I feel that here with this movie, if they change the tone, like with Billy Zane being more serious, then I think everyone around him now, their tone kind of changes too,
right,
to a degree. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Good.
All right, so I'll talk a little bit more here about Brayker, because he's the opposite of the Collector. Like with the Collector, you got someone that's flashy, he's jokey, he's talkative, and all this bullshit. Whereas Brayker, again, like I said, he's tired, man. He's worn down.
He is so tired.
And that exhaustion kind of makes you quiet. You don't have time to waste on words and bullshit. Mm-mm. So with that being what it is, he's been carrying this responsibility, this key full of blood, for a long time. Mm-hmm. I think when they show his flashback, he was fighting in like World War One, maybe
something. I think it was definitely one.
He was fighting, a war.
Yeah.
One of the big wars, and even when the sheriff like runs,
he was in a ditch, right?
Yeah,
like a foxhole. Yeah, definitely one.
But like when they run like his ID, they're like, you're not gonna get this, you're not gonna believe this, but it says Brayker, died 5 years ago. So, all this weird shit. So, whatever it may be, this dude has been kind of doing this shit for a while. He's exhausted. Mm-hmm. And he's not even doing this because, for glory or for heroism. He's been burdened with it. This is something that he has to do.
Right.
And that's, it kind of makes him a little bit of a tragic character because he didn't want this shit. Mm-hmm. It was just like, oh, here's a responsibility, run with it. You have to get this to the next person to fucking hand it off to.
Right, like, and it was never described to him what was going on. It was just, here, take this. And then it kind of came to him what he had to do.
Yeah, like his life has been reduced to running, hiding, and keeping this Collector, this evil thing from, unleashing hell on earth, essentially.
Basically.
So like the movie slowly like gives us a glimpse of how he's part of this long line of protectors. Like the key's been passed from one person after the other, and I believe there's the blood of Jesus in there, or yes, mixed in there somewhere too. So this goes way, way, way back, and as this key gets passed down, like each individual just becomes more responsible moving forward and having to contain the darkness, I guess. Mm-hmm. Whatever the fuck. But yeah, like, so ultimately Brayker represents the kind of duty that comes with no reward, no recognition, like no real escape. He's not carrying the key because he wants power or attention. Mm-hmm. Like, he's carrying it because someone has to keep the darkness contained. Ultimately, like his exhaustion, it makes the threat feel even like bigly.
Oh my gosh!
even more bigly, because you can tell like this fight, it's taking everything from him. It's taking his life. It's taking like his joy. This dude don't smile.
He's been running for almost 80 years. When did World War I start?
I don't know. Back in the day.
It was the 1910s, right?
Back in the day.
Like, it had to be like the 1910s, right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, like.
And this is 95, so you have to think he's been running for probably close to 80 years.
Well, the movie came out in 95,
We're going to assume that it's 95 when all this is happening.
Hey.
You're a fucking drag, you know that?
How am I a drag?
You like, because you're correcting me.
I'm not correcting you. I'm just making an assumption. So, carry on.
All right, whatever.
Ew.
Ultimately, this kind of fucked up his life.
It really did. I
I don't know. He might have had a family for all we know.
Maybe. I don't know. Either
That
way,
sucks.
he was walking out of that war with PTSD regardless.
That dude missed mad birthday parties for his kids.
Oh,
Those fucking kids hate him.
they don't even know he exists.
Yeah.
They think the other person that mommy married is
The milkman. His
their
dad.
daddy. Yeah, something like that.
But, that basically gives the movie more emotional weight, though, than... And it's not something you would really expect. It's not really something you think about, and even watching this, because it is kind of an undertone. Like that's one of those things. If you sit back and watch this like for the 15th time or something, like me, and you're sitting there looking, you're like, yo, like you start to like pay attention to individual characters. Mm-hmm. And Brayker's one of those characters. You really kind of think about his story and think about what he's going through in the movie. And when you look at it, it's like, this dude. Like he just kind of got saddled with this shit.
He really did, and good for him for running for so long.
Yeah, until like a demon, I think it was Danny, when the little kid, like ripped him open and started like, licking on his guts and stuff.
That's disgusting.
Kind of wild, but whatever.
Well, I mean, I think he knew something was up anyway because all the stars had lined up into a circle on his hand. So I guess that meant that his time was ending.
Well, I think it was saying like the missing, like the piece that you're looking for. It's here,
right? Yeah.
So, like, because I wonder what happens if he doesn't die. Does he pass it on to
someone else,
Jada Pinkett, or like,
just whoever's there or whatever?
Or does he keep rolling?
I mean, like, was he technically destined to be the next one? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
Because we didn't see the hand of the other person, I don't think. Maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, once the key got put in your hand, No,
but I mean in the guy in the foxhole with him during World War One.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that
he got killed and then he's dumping his blood in there. So I think that's actually how it happens. Basically,
I got to pass this on.
Yeah, I got to pass it on to the next person.
And you, the unlucky son of a bitch that happens to be near me, so it's your turn.
Yeah.
So but speaking of the next one, was it Jeryline?
Jeryline.
Jeryline. So that's about it. So
because I heard it said like both ways.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
No, it's just Jada Pinkett at that time.
Jada Pinkett. Okay, just Jada Pinkett. Okay,
I think she was still with Tupac at the time.
She was.
You can see like
always gonna be with Tupac.
The way that she was carrying herself, like she was like looking at this movie, I was like, oh, she was actually adorable then. Now she's just a horribly toxic human.
Yeah. Tupac took everything out of her, man.
Or put everything in her.
Oh no!
Got her.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Well, she is known as our real survivor, and she starts the movie as someone who's basically just stuck in a odd, weird, maybe bad situation.
Yeah, she's a criminal.
Right. I mean, she's done some things.
She looks the type.
Things.
Nah, she still stings.
So
she sees them and stills them.
She is working at the boarding house where everything happens. And she seems to just, of course, want more out of life. Who wouldn't if you're stuck there?
Because she's still in. That's what it means by wanting more out of life.
But she just hasn't found her way out yet of, I guess the hole she keeps digging herself into. And as the story goes on, she becomes, of course, the more important character or the most important character. And she's observant, she's tough, and she's able to adapt. I mean, they're always calling her to do on one thing or another. The one lady who ran the place did nothing but run her mouth, it seems like.
One arm.
She had two in the beginning. Anyway, by the end of the movie, it is made clear that she is not just another survivor. She becomes the person who has to carry the fight forward. Well, yeah. She's the next one.
So everybody dead.
Right. And he's like, guess who's tag you're it, And that's one of the stronger parts of the film. She doesn't just become strong because the movie suddenly says she's special. She earns it through what she sees, the way she survives, and the choices that she has to make. Like her covering herself in the blood and holding it in her mouth and spitting it in his face is
I don't think that's the worst thing that's ever been in her mouth. I'm just saying.
All right. So
She looks the type.
other than that, does her character work for you?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was important to the story to have a character like this.
When you look at the boarding house, the different personalities that are in there,
Exactly.
and a character like her kind of fits the bill because you have, it's a wild cast because, like, first off, they're in the middle of nowhere, so it's like these are just people that just kind of hang out there. Like, who's making any money besides, like, Wally, who works at the fucking post office anyway? So
Yeah.
who's really, and Roach, who works at Homeboy's fucking diner. So it's like, who's really making money? Like, even Cordelia, she's out there, slinging, and it's like, who's, like, how are people paying for a whore?
I don't know.
How are people paying for a hooker? So, it's like, when you look at, like, these different individuals, it's like, it makes sense to have a criminal there,
Well, I mean, she works as the character who's going to be having the torch passed to her because
that too.
she's willing to get done what needs to be done. She's willing to do not always the right thing, but the thing that needs to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And you need somebody who's willing to push the envelope and go forward in order to not allow. She's not going to give up easily. She's going to fight.
I think also kind of painting that character though as like this criminal who's like, she's not a criminal in a sense of
She's
like
a good person.
she's not like a violent criminal. It's like,
No.
like he asked her, what were you locked up for? She was like, for stealing. And I think that's kind of that lowest line that you could put somebody at,
Right.
for getting in trouble. It's like, oh, I got caught for stealing, because there's nuance to that. Or were you stealing because you're, homeless, you were hungry,
Right.
or were you stealing because, like, hey, that old lady got, $100 and I want it,
Yeah, or like, I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I like her character. It works for the story.
I liked her character. Also, too, like, I don't know if people, again, I wish I had the sound button set for, but like the soundtrack had a song called 1-800-Suicide by the Gravediggers.
Okay.
There are two different versions of that song, and they did the remix for that soundtrack, and it plays in the background for her when the collector is now showing her that temptation,
Right.
and trying to like lure her. So
Right, they're dancing around. She got that blood in her mouth. Like,
but I always liked that song, like the beat, because RZA, that especially at that time, RZA was like involved with everything production wise. But speaking of the temptation, like that's one of the strongest themes in this movie is temptation. Like the collector, he uses this as an attack on the people there with the demons and the violence and everything. He studies everyone, like you had been mentioning. That's part of what he needs to do. That's his job.
Yeah.
He needs to understand people, and he offers each person something, very personal to them. Like I said, Cordelia, he's trying to offer her love. Roach, he was offering him escape and survival. I don't think he ever got to Wally, the postman.
I think he was already taken over at that point or killed or something.
Wally, I think, was very he was more so attached with Irene.
Yeah.
But I think it was revealed that he was going to blow everything up anyway. They found all these grenades.
Yeah.
And what have you. But
he was going to go postal.
Yes, because he worked at the post office.
And that was like that time when all that was happening.
I think he just got him fired too.
Yeah.
So he was like depressed, and Cordelia was like, "You think I should give the poor guy a freebie?" It's like that's what he needs. Somebody else screwing him.
Right.
Like, I watch this movie too much. Like, I just know all the lines. But yeah. So he offers those things to them. He offers Willie. Willie is a horrible alcoholic.
Poor baby.
I don't want to paint it like that. Horrible alcoholic. He seems like a sweetheart. He
just unfortunately has a bad habit.
He's drinking that fire water, and he got addicted to it
A little bit.
But basically, he offers him that. He offers Jeryline, a chance for a new start.
Right.
So he's trying to use temptation to get at everyone. And I feel like it's like, one of those things where I was like, here, I can offer you the life that you all were denied.
Okay.
Just give me what I want, and I'll let you live. You don't have to be a demon, but you get to, do what you want to do. And that kind of, to some degree, makes the horror feel a little bit more personal. Because the danger, isn't only on the outside of the boarding house. Like, it's inside each of the characters.
Yes.
Like, the movie's not just asking if if they can survive the demons. It's asking if they can survive their own weaknesses. And the collector, he doesn't create those flaws. That shit, it exists in them. He just exposes them. So he tries to use everyone's selfish desires as a doorway to get in.
Oh, sure.
I think Roach was like kind of ultimately the one that, like, he was able to get to like Cordelia, but I don't think. Like, I guess the room was sealed off, though. He was still able to get to her, but it wasn't like a consequence because it was early on. Roach was the one that he got to that kind of opened it all. And, my favorite line, Roach was like, oh, yeah, and by the way, can you, like, kill that Brayker asshole? Like, can you kill Brayker? He's a real asshole. And the line that I use is still all the time. Like, and the collector goes, ain't he, though?
Ain't he, though? Yeah.
Because like anytime anyone says anything, that's the first thing. It's like, ain't he, though? But yeah, that's kind of like the take on none. I guess that's like really the major theme of the movie is like temptation.
Yeah, sure. So, and it's just like, are you willing to fight against for what's right, or are you willing to just let those stressors go and just slide into the temptation that you're being offered?
Yeah.
So,
like, do you think the movie is saying that the people are weak, or that the pressure reveals what people, already are?
I mean, I think it depends on a case-by-case basis. I mean, we're considered, weak of flesh or whatever. But, like, I think some people's character is weaker than others.
Weak-ass bitches.
Some people are willing to keep fighting the good fight as best they can, even if shit sucks. Others are like, you know what? I see an easy out. I'm just going to go, whoop, whoop, So, there's that.
Well, the big thing was the selfishness of Roach. Because, like I said, he was one that kind of really...
He was the worst.
Ruined it all.
Yeah.
Like the collector was able to get to, like, Cordelia and Willie. But getting to Roach was the one that got him the entry that he wanted.
That's exactly what he wanted. He's like, just let me in. It's fine.
He even rolled a sponge out of his mouth, handed it to him. And
said, just wipe that up for me real quick.
Yeah, just wipe that right up.
Right there.
And it was just so very easy how they were able to, like, take the sponge, wipe a little bit, and it clears the whole thing.
Well, it's no different than a movie where they're like, make a line of salt to keep you protected. If it's just smudged just a little bit, you're screwed. You've broken the seal, you've broken the line, and it's important usually in these rules of how things go in a story.
Yeah.
So, moving on to religious horror without being too serious, because we don't need the religion to be too serious and stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's also another theme here. Light theme. Well, I want to say it's even light because it is a heavy thing, but it's undertoned as well.
The subject can be heavy, but it's given a lightness. But the movie, of course, uses a lot of religious imagery, such as, like, it gives you, like, the blood of Christ and, like, this, like, key that's very ornate, very old looking.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, is a little too ornate for supposed to be from the time of Jesus. Not saying that they didn't do stuff like that, but it had, like, it looked like it was made of glass and gold. I feel like
they had, like, a lot of, wood and pebbles.
I feel like if it was anything, it would have been honed out of metal or, like, a clay bottle or something. That's just me thinking. Continuing on, though. So we have demons. Oh, it's considered a relic that he carries around. Those carry around important things. There's prophecies, there's sacrifice, and of course, the threat of hell on earth, or more hell on earth than there already is. But it doesn't treat it as if those ideas, they don't go over everything in a very slow, methodical process. Everything's very quick paced, as we've said. And instead of the movie turning in everything, it turns everything into horror mythology, which mixes a little bit of biblical concepts with a little bit of comic book energy, a little action, a little dark comedy. So it makes it a nice, more modern, enjoyable theme instead of just this. It's not like some of these more religious, like, what do they call them? Like possession movies. It's a little different. This is definitely more fun.
Yeah.
And it separates it from the heavier religious horror films like The Exorcist and The Omen, which are those, like I just said. What did I call them?
Religious films?
No, not that. Possession films. Yeah.
Tomato.
It's the same thing. So anyway, the blood inside, the sacred blood inside of the key gives the story a simple but a memorable rule. This is going to help keep you safe, but don't give this to him. while also making the conflict feel ancient and, of course, important, because you get those little clips of like Jesus on the cross and this, that, and the other, you know, to kind of hone in on the religious aspects. And the religious elements raise the stakes without slowing the movie down, which is nice because this is, again, a fast-paced thing. Yeah. And the film gives us just enough mythology to help us understand the danger without over-explaining everything. It's very important that he doesn't get this. Like, most of these people, especially during the times, everybody had religion at some point. They were probably all raised in the church or something like that. So everybody had basic Bible knowledge. And we knew, no matter what, no matter how we feel about things, it's important this guy does not get this piece. So, do you prefer when horror explains its lore, or do you like when they leave a little bit of mystery?
I mean, it depends.
It really does.
Like for something like this, like I need a little something. Like I needed the lore explained, and I feel like the movie did fine explaining what we needed. It absolutely did. Like I think folks today have this thing of like, I want all the behind the scenes info. I want like all the commentary. I need all the details. And it's like, honestly, it's fine just to fucking have a movie and use your imagination. Exactly. And I love when a movie can kind of tell its story in just one and not have to worry about another. Not saying that a second one following Jada would have been a bad idea, but it would have just been a repeat of this one. Yeah. And it could end up being worse. You know what I mean? And yeah, you could have gotten a little bit more of the lore, but honestly, enough is enough. It was enough. Yeah, this is one of those movies where like they left the room where it's like, hey, we could do a sequel, but I think that was intentional to give you that ideal and have no actual plan to do a sequel because I think even in Bordello of Blood, you actually see that key somewhere in the movie. Okay. And it just kind of gives you the idea like, oh, okay. That exists. Well, like I feel like the movie put you in that Goldilocks zone. Everything was done just right to fit it. So, no. So, I do want to kind of talk about the demons themselves and really the effects. Oh, they were great. The practical effects, like the creature effects, really felt like a product of its time. Like. Really in the best way possible. I have to say, the outfits that they were wearing had to be highly uncomfortable and hot. Oh, I think like the demons themselves were like animatronics and stuff. But the ones where they're walking around are people in costumes. Well, yeah, those. Like I think there's a handful of those. Yes. But like the demons. Like the gore, the transformation, all the stuff, the body horror, like all of the practical effects, like that added to the charm of the movie. Like, but I think I say that for now. Like back then, it was just the thing. It wasn't even about the charm. That was just the thing. Like now, if you sit here today, having never seen this before, and you watch that movie, that's part of the charm. Yes. But back then, it was just the way it was. Like, the creatures looked slimy and nasty and very physical. And even when certain moments felt dated, there's still something fun about seeing the monsters that actually feel like, they're in the room with the actors. It's not CGI or anything. So, the gore, it's over the top. But, again, it's 1995. Nah. But, well, no, it's very over the top. Well, I mean, it fits the Tales from the Crypt thing, so yeah. Like shooting them in the eyes, which everybody has a perfect shot all of a sudden. Missed. They hit 3 times in the top of the head. They're like, you have to hit the eyes. Pow, pow, done. But the effect from that felt, very, very over the top. But it went with the time. It went with, its comic book energy and aesthetic. So, it's like, this isn't, like, again, a quiet, restrained movie. This isn't something that's trying to tiptoe its way through. This is splatter horror. It's got slime, it's got blood, it's got chaos, and all the practical creature feature magic. That's a part of that time. Yeah, and it's also what makes it like part of that cult classic. It gives it that appeal. I miss the fact that we don't really have stuff like that anymore, because it gave you the idea of, I wonder how they did that. Yeah. And when you hear like the behind the scenes of like how they created certain effects, you're just like, it was really that simple, but it looks so good. Like,
I know Billy Zane probably wasn't throwing around glowing green goo.
Yeah.
It was probably something else, and they put that in. Or maybe it was.
No,
Are you sure it wasn't like glow stick, like slime or something?
That's what I think it was.
It was just the glow stick, and they had like, okay.
Yeah, because like CGI then, I mean, the CGI that you saw was like when they poured the blood and it made the little seal.
That's all they had the money for, was just that one effect. That's it. Oh, and the lightning coming out of their eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really have a whole lot of
expensive
like CGI stuff. I mean, and then like even like looking at like the blood splattering from the glowing goo splattering from his hand. Like, considering how that CGI was done back then, that would not have looked that clean.
No.
It would have looked like really cartoony and animated.
Yeah, it would have.
So, yeah, whatever it was that he was like, splashing was like probably like glow stick fluid or whatever the fuck.
They probably had like some kind of like thick jelly or something like that. And he's just splopping around.
I promise you it was like super toxic and they all got mesothelioma. That's why like Billy Zane was bald. Like he started losing his hair when he like started fucking around with
You're
that.
like, shit.
Because he had all his hair in Back to the Future. And in Titanic,
Billy.
2 years later. But I think that was a toupee.
It could have been.
Yeah. Because he had a hair in a Phantom.
Yeah, I was going to say he was bald in that.
Yeah, because like he had like mesothelioma from the asbestos in the fucking glue.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so.
Whatever.
I know we've talked a little bit about the boarding house characters, but let's talk a little bit more about our supporting characters that give the boarding house a lot of its personality. Like Irene, Uncle Willie, we've talked about Roach, Cordelia, poor Cordelia's arm, Wally, and all the others that bring something different to the story, even if they are not all easy to like. I really did not like Roach or the mailman.
Well, I think Roach was meant to not be likable.
No, he is meant to not be likable.
So you don't have to tell us you didn't like him because that was the purpose.
Well, he did a good job then. Good job, Sandman.
Everybody did a good job.
But that all actually works for this kind of a movie. And like you mentioned earlier, in a siege horror film, the danger can't only come from the monsters outside. They also needs to be tension inside of the place where everyone is hiding. Roach, of course, as we said, is selfish and hard to trust. Uncle Willie brings both humor and a little bit of sadness. I really did feel bad for him. Like, he's just like that. I don't know. He's just a little old drunk, and he just meant well, but he just had a drinking problem. I don't know.
I didn't see it as a problem.
He needed therapy.
It wasn't a problem.
And a hug, probably. But anyway,
I think it was a drinking solution.
Irene had a strong sense of authority, and she had toughness. Like, she didn't give a shit that her arm fell off. She was kind of like, fuck you still, And
like, I don't think that vodka that she was drinking would have like worked that quickly. I know it was for the movie effect, but
it
still.
really was. It wouldn't have worked that quickly.
Like, give me the vodka, Like, it doesn't work like that. Like,
it really doesn't.
This comes from somebody. No. This comes from somebody who usually drink a whole lot, and I would fall down.
Also, too, I think like that whole idea of like, oh, they give you like alcohol to knock you out. You were drinking fucking moonshine, and that shit's like 2 shots and you're fucking goner.
Yeah, this shit was like 80 proof.
Yeah, like 125 proof. You're like, what the fuck?
Like, come on, man, chill.
So then we have Cordelia, who's just very vulnerable and a danger to the mix, and their flaws, fears, and personal issues.
That's wild to even
Cordelia?
She's like a danger to the mix because she was a prostitute.
I don't know. I think it was because she was just so lovesick. Like, I guess she wanted more. I mean, they all wanted more from life, but they were making the best they could with what they had there with each other.
In New Mexico.
They were stuck in that little. There's nothing there.
They were stuck in like New Mexico. May as well be Arkansas,
especially back then.
Like, especially ever.
Oh my God. Okay.
Like, I mean, I know I talk a lot of shit about Ohio, but I'd rather be there than New Mexico. I mean, like for a day. I mean, forever. The fucking place sucks.
Well, I mean, at least, it's all important because their flaws and their fears and all of their personal issues that they have help keep the story kind of like burp, 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 moving along. And they give the collector different weaknesses to exploit them by because, again, that also helps push the narrative of the story.
Yeah.
So, which character do you think worked best for you of our little side characters?
I mean, everybody kind of plays
their part.
What they're supposed to be doing there, and again, because I keep in mind that they're in New Mexico and there's not really like a lot going on other than drugs. Like,
Drugs and alcohol, yeah.
It's not even because of Breaking Bad. Like, no, like New Mexico's known for drugs.
Are they really?
Yeah. Like,
shit.
They love that shit. Like, yeah, it's pretty rampant. It's fucked up because there's probably somebody like listening from New Mexico right now. Like,
no, it's
man,
not.
Fuck you guys. Like, now that I look at like,
you don't know shit.
When I think about it, when I look at the metrics for any of the podcasts, I don't think we ever had anyone from New Mexico listen.
Probably because they're all high.
Yeah, I don't even think they got like technology there.
They don't even need horror movies because they are living in a horror movie.
Yeah, nobody that watches horror movies. They're like, nah. The hill have eyes. Like, shit.
Sure, our hills have needles.
Like, we are the eyes.
Right? Like, oh
with
no.
the needles. But yeah, I think everybody kind of fits, kind of the part. So, like, as far as, like, anyone that worked best, I mean, Willie would make the most sense. Just considering the area that you're in, and then you're kind of in this isolated place. So when you look at like the experiments they've done with the rats, where they put like cocaine in the water thing, and then they put them in a box with like nothing, like they just turn to the mixture of cocaine and water, and the drugs basically. Whereas if you give them activities, they they'll go to it, but it's not like they become like hooked on it. They always go to those activities, do stuff. So like looking at Willie being in that area with like the drinking problem, there's nothing to do. Like he's the one that like when you look at all this, it makes the most sense.
It does.
Everybody else is just like part of a ragtag bunch of like mystery kids that go hunting in their mystery machine, with their fucking talking dog.
This isn't Scooby Doo.
Oh, fuck! That was last episode.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, well, whatever. Sorry about that. Like, I'd be tripping sometimes.
It's all good, man.
So, as you watch this movie, though, it starts to feel like how do I put this? Like, it feels completely locked into 1995.
It so does.
Like it like I said, there's kind of this mix, or not mix, but like you're kind of transitioning from things like Wishmaster, stuff like that, where you're getting CGI used
minimally,
but they're starting to really toe into it. But now we're like a year away from, or months away from, like meta horror with like Scream, and then I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out in '97 and so forth. And
it takes a whole nother turn,
and everything goes back to practical, like not even like just practical effects, but like low energy, low level like effects. Whereas
when did Leprechaun come out?
That was like '93. Or maybe it was early '90s.
Okay.
But they had like 5 sequels all in the '90s. So, like you could say Leprechaun came out any of those years.
All of those years.
But yeah, like so this definitely started to bleed 1995. Like everything, the music, like I said, you had Filter, you had Gravediggers playing. That's the big thing. It's like, oh, those are soundtracks. And like even the editing, it all felt like very, very 1995. The fashion, the overall attitude.
Fashion attitude. Yeah, exactly.
So like this came out like during that weird period. For horror, like I mentioned before, you had your big slasher boom coming from the 80s into some of the 90s, but right before we get into like your minimalist, I guess, horror. Again, you had your slashers with Scream, and I Know What You Did Last Summer and all that stuff, but it wasn't like over the top like special effects and craziness. It was very, very like it's here. Like even though this was isolated in one location, it still had like a lot of big stuff going on where you need CGI for some stuff and a lot of crazy practical effects. So and it wasn't self-aware like the upcoming crop of movies.
Let's just say they definitely had a bigger budget for costumes and makeup than like the Scream movies, basically, because they put more effort into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're also coming off like this is total sales from the Crypt production, so
that's how things go. Yeah. Exactly.
And when you really look at all of that, like it kind of makes the movie feel like it's caught between eras,
and it's fine.
Like, almost like it doesn't belong. It belongs, but it doesn't belong.
Well, it fits in its own little world, and that's kind of how you feel out there in the middle of nowhere in this little bordello, like not bordello, but like boarding house, and it's just. It is an isolated story, almost kind of like a single issue comic. So it is its own little world in itself just here in this story.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it kind of like plays off of those old Silver Age comic books from the 60s and 70s.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like
it's almost like one of those episodes of like Twilight Zone. You're stuck in this little, and this is your story, and this is where you exist, right here.
Yeah, like a lot of this all still kind of carries some of the 80s creature feature energy, but it still leans hard into the 90s style with the faster pace, I guess, and the action, the comedy, and the fantasy elements and all this stuff. So, it may not feel like it's as polished as most modern studio horrors would be today, but that roughness is part of what gives it its personality. So I think like Demon Knight belongs to like a traditional moment in horror history, and that's a big reason why it still kind of stands out. Like,
sure.
It like I said, it feels like it doesn't belong, but it does belong, but that it's of its time. So I don't know, like watching it now, like did the movie feel dated, like in a good way or a bad way for you, or was it just kind of like, I remember this?
I mean, it's dated for the story. It works for the story. Like, as we mentioned before, it wouldn't work now, but it works when it was.
Like, do you think like this movie could be made the same way today?
It could not be made the same way today. It could be made, but it would be different.
I think it could be made the same way today. I just don't think it would be as accepted. Well, I think it would be how it was then. It'd have a cult following. Like it wouldn't hit mainstream.
I wouldn't want it to be made the same way. I'd want you to do something different.
Well, no, I'm not saying like remake it. I'm saying like if this movie had never happened then. Oh,
and then just be done now, it'd be way different. But yeah, it would become something just because people are looking for a particular kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it could, but I just can't really imagine it. At least not right now.
Well, my imagination runs deeper.
Yes, it does, maybe. You have a very, very deep pool.
I'm not very imaginative.
I'm sorry, your puddle is very puddly.
I can hear the vent to the headphones.
I can hear it a little bit, but it's not.
Me.
I'm sorry. Shall we pause until it's done?
No.
Okay, then I'm going to continue, okay? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, a big part of what makes our beloved Demon Knight work is the comedy. And since it's a Crypt Keeper thing and he frames the movie for us, it lets you know right away that this is not going to be a completely serious horror story, which I love about that. I love the fact that, things can be a little funny and everything. Then Billy Zane takes that even further, of course, with his performance as the Collector. And he gives the movie this wonderful, sarcastic, playful energy, which I just absolutely love. I mean, I think if you put anybody else in there, the movie would feel completely different. Well, like some of the other characters could be anybody else, but I feel like Billy Zane really made like everything kind of like just click into place.
I wasn't familiar with Billy Zane before this movie, I don't think, at least. So it's like, when I even think about it, it's like, if someone's like, hey, could you imagine Billy Zane pulling this role off? I was like, well, I don't fucking know him. So other than Back to the Future, and I didn't know him in Back to the Future. I just realized watching Back to the Future the other day.
Right? You're like, wait, Billy Zane's in it? What? Billy Zane's,
so like I would sit there like at 1 and 2. Like I was sitting there like specifically looking for him.
The thing is like he's one of the little goons and they're flashed so quick in and out of frame. You're like, wait.
In the second one, he's pretty like you can see him.
You get a better
the
picture.
First one, you definitely so like quick. Blink and you miss him,
right?
Type deal.
So anyway, Billy Zane with his performance of the Collector, he was just great, and he does all this, but still portrays himself as being a dangerous character, which is important. And the risk from the horror comedy is that the jokes can sometimes make the threat feel less serious, but here the horror still has very real consequences. People are dying, the demons are a very real threat, and the stakes are literally the end of the world. And nothing can be more serious than the idea of everything ending.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The humor fits the Tales from the Crypt kind of brand because it gives the movie personality without turning it into like a full-on spoof, which we love anyway, but it's very Tales from the Crypt kind of a style. And the tone works because the film fully commits to being just outrageous, funny, bloody, of course, all the gore, and dangerous all at the same time. So, did the humor ever undercut the tension for you?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
I think it blended well. I mean, because the humor is really Billy Zane.
It's his personality.
Yeah. It wasn't like everyone else was trying to be funny.
No.
Like, if there was a pseudo, I just want to say pseudo, funny
Again?
line. Yeah. It was something that was played off of Billy Zane.
Okay.
It was like with Roach. Like, talk about, like, you think Hell on Earth is bad. I got hemorrhoids. You know, it's like that's him talking to Billy Zane.
Right.
So it's not just like kind of out of the blue, you know, being silly. It's like any kind of humor was connected to the collector.
Correct.
So I felt like the humor
writing
was appropriate
Yes.
for where it happened.
And it's almost kind of like his character has just been going after this thing for so long in order to, like, I guess entertain himself. He's like, let me just, say whatever I want and maybe just be funny or whatever. I don't know. I think that it just works with the story because it lightens everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah.
What?
Sorry, I was scrolling through my notes. I was like, oh, okay, here I am. So like, talking about the movie itself and what it's really about at its core is it's about people. It's about what people do when the easy way out is offered to them.
Of course.
That's that whole temptation thing again. Like, the collector gives people options.
Yeah, you could do this.
They could avoid the pain.
So easy.
They can say, okay, yeah, I'll bypass that shit. Or they can get, but they can avoid the pain and they can get what they want.
Yep.
They can stop fighting.
It's so simple.
But anything that was offered comes with a cost. And that cost is ultimately they become a demon.
Yeah.
Like, he straight up says that, like he's saying that to Jeryline, where he's like, all the shit was like, of course you'll be a demon, you look like shit. And then, you're just casually telling her, like, yeah, I mean, you can, like, just, have everything you want. I mean, of course you're going to look like a demon, you're going to look like shit, but, we'll be together forever.
Right.
And that's part of what makes the movie a little bit more interesting than just, demons attack a building and, rawr, bear claws. It's about moral pressure. It's about the difference between surviving and, selling out. It's about whether ordinary people can hold the line, when they're scared, and tempted. So I think that's what it kind of, and when you're watching the movie, all that's right in front of you, but again, there's just so much like action going on and silliness going on. Yeah, you kind of lose sight of the temptation factor and the people element of it all. So like, what do you think the movie's like trying to say about sacrifice? Like these, like, again, people are weak, or and also think about sacrifice. We think about Brayker too. Doing the hard job, carrying that key or that relic. So there's a lot of sacrifice there. So I guess what I'm wondering about it in terms of like his sacrifice more prominent, or anyone that kind of, I guess Jeryline being the main one who stood up, and then Irene, their sacrifices, were they worth it?
In the end, yes, because it's kind of like the betterment for all mankind. They don't have to just think about just themselves.
No, I was trying to find the one button, but it's on another board.
Ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
I'll fix that next time. Like, did the ending feel satisfying?
Sure. Because it wasn't going to just end. There's no way to, like, I don't think there's a way to just simply break the relic and he wouldn't want it, and still use it.
Yeah. Like,
so unfortunately, it doesn't feel like they're really, in this amount of time, a actual definitive way to get rid of what it is he's looking for, so that he's just like, I guess I'll go home now. I don't think he can go home without it.
No.
It's kind of like, don't come back until you got it.
Well, no, he got killed anyway.
Huh?
So he got killed anyway.
Billy Zane?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
no, you can't kill him.
When she spit the blood on him.
Yeah, no, he comes back because he ends up chasing her.
No, it's a different collector.
It doesn't matter. It's just him in a different form.
Yeah. Well, it's not Billy Zane.
Well, not that body,
It was
no.
a black dude.
Well, I mean,
And she put the
demons
blood on.
can look whatever they want.
She put the blood on the step of the stairs, or the bus, and then he stops.
He's like, I'm good. I'll
He's
wait.
like, nah, I'll catch the next one. So,
Yeah.
Like, would you call this movie smarter than it looks on the surface?
Sure.
Yeah, because I just pointed all this stuff out, so
No, I mean, it does, because the writing, even though it's quick, it works in many angles.
Well, I think also, too, like we said, there's a lot going on that you kind of almost overlook. Well, not even almost. You do overlook all those other, like, points. So, like, I think there's something being said, like an undertone there, that most people can't really, even pick up on unless you're watching it multiple times. And you start looking at each individual character, and then you start picking up like, oh, yeah, Brayker really is a tragic dude. So, yeah, like, I feel like some parts of Demon Knight age pretty well.
Yes.
Billy Zane specifically, like his performance. I think, again, if you made this movie today the same way, his performance, it can still kind of stay the same. I think a lot of other stuff would probably have to change, maybe, perhaps, I don't know.
I mean, the biggest thing that would have changed is the fact that CGIing would be a lot different, so you wouldn't have that hometown monster feel to it. It would just feel more clean in a way.
I think a purist, though, would have said, hey, I'm going to stick with the practical effects.
Well, you would have to have a purist that's going to do it. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, you do have that, though. Well, a lot of horror films now, you do have purists that are doing practical effects. But yeah, I think, like, when you look at it, the movie aged relatively well.
Sure, I think so.
Like I think the practical effects are still, like, charming.
Oh, I love them.
So if you did it today, I think it would work. Like, the basic story is kind of easy to follow.
Sure.
Like, the siege setup is relatively strong.
Yeah.
It's not, they're taking a pill in 1, 2, 3, but, it's still a siege movie all the same. And Jeryline, she's kind of like that strong character that transcends time. So it works. And like, other parts may feel dated, like some of the dialogue, at least.
Yeah, that would be a little dated.
And the character stereotypes, because I don't think we're gonna get the Cordelia character.
I don't know. You might, because they had to portray different kinds of people in this little place, and everyone's very different from each other.
Yeah, very much.
And then that way it works along with the temptations, because everybody has different things, so it can't be all the same. And we have to see quickly how everyone is different and how they react to things.
But what I'm saying is, like, I don't think you're going to get Cordelia as a prostitute.
No. You just get the chick who likes to sleep with all the peoples.
I don't even think you get that. I think you're going to get this chick who's, just wants to be loved, but it'll be portrayed differently.
Yeah.
So, I think everyone else kind of...
But why does she live at the border house?
I mean, why does anyone there?
I think was it her and the mailman lived there?
Yeah,
Uncle Willie lived there?
So that's what I mean. Is like, who knows?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, they're all just there. I mean, even Danny, the little boy, is just there.
It's like, okay.
Like, Danny's dad owned the diner that Roach worked at. But
why the hell you at the boarding house with the prostitute?
But we never see, like, the parents, other than when he yells at Brayker's trying to break into the car. And, like, I think both the parents come out in Roach, and the mom's, like, saying, chase him. Meanwhile, Brayker's going. He's like, nah, he's already gone. That's the only time you see Danny's parents. So you get all these different characters, but it's like, it is like, to some degree, I don't think you really need, like you need the postman, because you got to have kind of your gullible guy.
Oh, gee shucks.
Like, and so there is kind of that second lovesick, puppy.
Yeah, I guess you would change up some of the characters, and the dialogue definitely would have to change.
So yeah, I mean, I guess depending on the viewer, it would vary, but I think it still works. I think it still holds up.
Oh, sure.
So, not everything like the 90s, the mid 90s stereotypes, are what they are. But either way, I think it still holds up pretty well.
I think it does too.
So, yeah. So, I guess, like, the legacy of Demon Knight, like, what we got there.
Yeah, the legacy. So, Demon Knight might not have been treated like a major horror classic when it first came out, but over time, It has built, of course, its loyal cult following, as all classic things tend to do, right? So a lot of the horror fans remember it as one of those like cable era movies that felt fun and weird and dangerous and just a really easy, fun thing to watch. And if you had HBO, I'm sure you got to watch it as much as you wanted, right?
I don't know, because I don't remember this coming out in the theater, but there's a trailer and everything. Everything has a trailer though, but I don't remember this being in the theater.
I don't remember how cable worked on HBO. I think these things just came on when they came on, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it came on when it came on. It's not like how it is now. Where
I keep forgetting that we all used to get those books every week that were our guides to tell us when things came on.
Well, even like if you had HBO, like just you kind of get like a little preview or like a heads up. They'll tell you when something's coming on. Yeah, I mean, you had your TV guides too, and then even like the TV guide channel. But if Demon Night's on, it's on. Tales from the Crypt is on, it's on. But I mean, as far as Demon Night goes, I don't know that it came out in the theaters.
No, I don't think so. We'd have to look that up. But as far as it definitely was an HBO thing, and it also stood out because it was the first Tales from the Crypt feature film. Yeah. They usually just had the little short stories.
Well, yeah, they just had the show itself.
Yeah, the little show with the little. Well, they have like what, 2 episodes or 2 stories per episode or something like that. Yeah, you're like your basic back then, the classic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I think even with Bordello of Blood, like that came later, maybe a year later, 2 years later, and there are only 2 feature films they ever did.
I mean, I think it works. Yeah. But basically, this one, of course, ended up feeling like the best example of what the brand could become on a bigger scale. So I guess that's what they were trying to see, how far they could branch out with things.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think that that it didn't do well. I think they're just kind of...
No, I mean, it wasn't aiming to be perfect. They were just aiming to tell a story, and they wanted to have longer than just the basic time to do it in. So it's like, oh, let's have something fun. Let's take this and make it into like a miniature movie.
Yeah, I don't know that they I don't think they had like a plan of like, hey, let's like make a series of movies though. I think it was just like, let's just we got a bigger story to tell with these 2 tales. It has to be more than an hour.
Right. And when you take the tone and Billy Zane's villain performance and all the practical effects that we got and the wild mid-90s energy that it's been given off, and they all help the movie stick with people. And it shows that, horror does not always have to be super polished in order to work. It can be messy. It can be ugly. It can be fun. And sometimes being messy and entertaining, and it can be full of just personality. And it's exactly what makes the movie last. Because like you said, people hear that and they're like, oh, Billy Zane. Yeah, Yeah. So does this movie deserve more respect from horror fans, you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a ton of horror fans, so I can't really honestly judge it, but I do hope that people remember it.
Anytime I post anything about Demon Night, people comment.
That's nice.
Like they know it, they remember it. So I think it's properly respected within the horror community. Okay. I do wish it got more shine, just like on a bigger scale. Sure. I think also, too, Billy Zane's finest performance.
Oh, Billy Zane was awesome.
Besides Back to the Future 2.
Oh, well.
Yeah, as one of Biff's goons. Ah. So, I guess as we kind of wrap up here, kind of giving our final thoughts on it, it is, Demon Night a must-watch. Is it like a must-watch, a fun one-time watch, or, only for certain... I guess taste for horror fans. Would you look at it as any of those, or is it just fun romp?
If you say you're a horror fan, then you would take the time to kind of explore all the different varieties of horror, and Tales from the Crypt is one of them. So even if it is just a one-time watch, you should at least give a lot of things a one-time go through in order to find how far your tastes roam. So
I think a lot of folks, and this is more so the effect of the internet, and even us with the podcast here, I think a lot of folks kind of have this thing where it's they watch a movie and they want to critique it, they want to give their opinion on it, and sometimes just fucking watch a movie.
Just enjoy it.
Sometimes it's okay just to watch.
Well, and sometimes people get stuck in their little pockets and they don't want to venture out from it. Us doing Horror by the Decades was so much fun because you really got to see a wide range of how things work and how things change and just open yourself up to many more things.
Yeah. I think, yeah, if you say you're a horror fan, this should be one.
It should be a wide variety.
Like, it's a must-watch at least once.
Yes.
Because it is a fun romp.
Yes. And if you really are a true horror fan, you're willing to give anything a shot at least once.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that being what it is, I ain't got much more to say.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
Yeah. I ain't got nothing else to say, man.
Right?
It's late. I'm tired. I still got work notes to do.
Well, you better go get them done.
Yeah. So, as always, to you guys, the listeners, thank you. If y'all have any questions or concerns, criticisms, anything, feel free to reach out. You can always find us at So You Like Horror on Instagram, all the way separated by underscores. Or, really there. Or bjj.wiki. My jiu-jitsu page and shit. Go check it out. But we do appreciate everyone who listens to the episodes, gives any kind of feedback for the episodes, and, just straight up, just follow the page. Like, we appreciate you. So thank you very, very much. And as always, to you guys, we love you. Stick with us. Because, we're going to keep making these. As long as you guys keep listening. Thank you. Everybody.
Let the game begin.
Oh, wait, wrong button. No, not that one. Not that one.
You're a fucking
No,
drag,
not that
you know
one.
that?
Nope, not that one. Hold on. We're going to find one. That extra one's too long. No. What?
That Michael Myers one's in the middle. Don't do that. You already did that one.
Which one? That's... What's this?
My name is Jeff.
Fuck. I thought I had like a fucking laugh on here.
No, you don't have a laugh on there. I could have told you that.
That fucking sucks. This fucking board sucks.
You just gotta figure it out. It's okay. Give yourself time.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. You guys
Snitchy
keep listening.
boochies.
We'll definitely keep making these episodes. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
I think that's good for now.
The end.